Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you wanted to join me today because today we are going to talk about how I buy my groceries, like literally how I buy anything. I get tons of comments every time I post a video or a picture or anything about where do you buy this, where do you buy that, how do you get around this, how do you find this without plastic? I get these very specific questions, so I thought it was a good idea to give you an ultimate zero waste shopping guide. How I get everything and also the things that I cannot get without plastic. So we are going to go through this in categories. The first category being fruit and veg. So I get my fruit and veg from two places. Either I get it from the farmer's market or I get it from the loose section at the grocery store. The farmer's market is a place in Aalborg. If you want to know more about where it is, if you live in Aalborg as well, I will leave a blog post down below about the addresses and everything so you can go and find it as well. The farmer's market is 2 times a week, and if I can, I want to go both times. Other than that, I will just go one time. And they have a wide range of different kinds of fruit and veg. They do have some imported stuff, but they also have some homegrown, local and seasonal stuff. And that's the things that I am the most interested in. So I get stuff like potato, leek, broccoli, kale, cabbage, parsley, garlic, all these kinds of things from that farmer's market, and they're really, really nice. The other stuff that I do not get at the farmer's market, I get from the normal grocery stores. I simply go to the fruit and veg section of the grocery stores and I see what they have without any plastic, and then I get those things. My grocery store that's close to me usually have a lot of fruit without plastic. They have leek, onion, they have tomatoes, cucumber sometimes as well. They have sweet potato, they have sometimes garlic, sometimes. And they have a few different kinds of bits and bobs, and then I'll get those. So it's a good combo of both the farmer's market and the loose section at the grocery store. I also try to eat as seasonal as possible. Of course, I do make exceptions, like for instance, I do eat bananas. Sometimes they are actually kind of a staple of mine, but there are other kinds of things that I just try to avoid altogether buying, like passion fruit, papaya, pineapple, avocado, stuff like that. I do also dumpster dive, I should mention, so if I find some of these things in the dumpster, I will definitely eat them. But I try my very, very best to avoid buying them all together. Stuff like berries as well, I will only buy if they are in season in Denmark, so I will buy stuff like strawberries and blueberries when they are in season, because that also means often that you can get them without plastic. But I will definitely avoid buying them in the plastic packaging, in the plastic trays, and generally imported. So when it comes to dried goods, there's lots of stuff to find in the supermarket without any plastic. I buy my rice and flour and sugar and salt and couscous in cardboard or paper bags from the supermarket. There are tons of plastic-free packaging, especially where I live, so I just do that instead, and I do not depend on bulk stores for these supplies. I do, however, depend on a bulk store when it comes to stuff like dried lentils, dried chickpeas or pasta. I get those from either 2 bulk stores, either from Loos in Copenhagen or from Rå in Aarhus. They are both quite far away from where I live, so whenever I am in one of those cities anyway, I will bring some bags with me and I will make sure to stock up on these things. That is how I get both pasta, dried lentils and dried chickpeas. And if I run out of pasta, I will just make it myself. Then there is stuff like nuts. I have recently dumpster dived a lot of nuts, so they are right now in my freezer and I use them for everything I would use nuts for, like making milk and whatnot. But if I do not have dumpster dived nuts in my freezer, I will go to my farmer's market because they actually have bulk nuts. And the moment I realized that was a great day for me. And so I bring my small bulk bags to the farmer's market and I get my nuts there. They have different kinds of nuts as well. They have smoked almonds, which are so good. Normal almonds, salted almonds, they have salted cashews, peanuts, walnuts, different kinds of things. All of these are of course imported, but at least they are without plastic. Then there is yeast. I bake quite a lot, so I often use yeast, and yeast does not come without plastic in Denmark. The best that you can do is that you can get the little square, and it is wrapped in a plastic covered paper material, and that is, I think, the best that you can do. I know other places you can actually get it without any plastic. You can either get it in a tin or in glass, or you can get it in bulk, and if you can, that would be so amazing. I would love love to get my yeast like. Then there's stuff like baking powder that I use often in baking and different kinds of recipes, and I get that from Loose as well, my bulk store in Copenhagen. Talking of baking, I do make a lot of bread myself, but if I do not make bread myself, I bring bulk bags to normal grocery stores, because a lot of normal grocery stores actually have big bake-off sections where you can get bread without any plastic. I simply just bring my own little bags and I put the bread in there. In a grocery store really close to my place, they have these amazing burger buns that are also vegan, and I stopped making burger buns altogether because these are so fluffy and light and they're just so good. They almost taste like, you know, fast food burger buns. It's so great. And these are available in a lot of different grocery stores, so that is definitely something to look out for. But you can of course also just, you know, bake yourself. Then we have beverages, and generally every kind of liquid you will usually find in your kitchen. First of all, stuff like juice and milk. I never really buy juice from stores. If I do make juice myself at home, I use dumpster dived fruits that I find that I need to use right away. And then I make my own juice. Otherwise, I don't really do juice. And when it comes to milk, I make my own plant milks, also from nuts and oats and whatnot. It's really easy to do. I have also been known to buy a plant milk from time to time if I do not have time to make my own milk. It does take overnight to make your own milk, so if you're unprepared, it's a really nice thing that you can actually go down and buy it. And usually milk in Denmark comes in Tetra Pak, but you can actually find a lot of different plant milks in a solid plastic bottle, and that solid plastic bottle is a part of the Danish return system, which means that it has a much higher recycling rate than just the normal recycling system. So that is my out if I need to buy any kind of plant milk. I do buy it, the ones that are part of the Danish return system instead. Then there are stuff like soda. I do drink soda or pop, whatever you want to call it, once in a while. I do definitely like it. I try to only buy from small companies and not the big players like Pepsi and Coca-Cola. So I buy from smaller businesses, smaller brands. And then I also buy aluminium tins, which are easily recyclable and also part of the Danish return system. So that is also something. So yeah, that is what I do for sodas, but I definitely try to cut it back because it's so addictive. Like, oh my God. Then there's stuff like wine. I do definitely enjoy a chilled glass of white wine. I use Barnivore to find the vegan wines in the grocery store, and then I of course buy glass bottles and not Tetra Pak cardboard. Lastly, there's stuff like oil and soy sauce. All of these I get in larger bottles from Asian supermarkets in glass. I use olive oil at home, and I use sesame seed oil. I really like that in ramen and in soups and whatnot. It has this nice warmth to it. And then I use a mushroom soy sauce, and all of these are from a local Asian supermarket. You can find them lots of places. And I try to buy bigger bottles instead of smaller bottles, because bigger bottles will last me a longer time. It's often cheaper, and yeah, it's just generally better, and then I don't have to go out and re-buy the same thing over and over. And yeah, I try to find these things in glass bottles. A thing that I cannot find in glass bottles is normal vinegar. Normal vinegar I've only been able to find in plastic, so if I do need normal vinegar, I am resorting to buying a plastic bottle. But I do get my apple cider vinegar in glass, and I try to use that as much as I can instead. But for stuff like pickling, which I kind of do a lot these days, apple cider vinegar doesn't really work the same way, so I am resorting to normal vinegar for that. Then there's stuff like coconut milk. I rarely use it actually, but when I do, once in a while, I do get it in an aluminium tin. What else do we have? Oh yeah, then we have soy cream. Soy cream is something that I also use very rarely, but if I'm making a dessert or a cake or something, I do like having whipped cream on top, and I found this German brand of soy cream that works so well for whipped cream. It's so tasty. And it does come in a Tetra Pak little container. Then we have stuff like spreads. I don't know how to categorize this category of food other than spreads. The first thing is mayo. I know that you can make mayo yourself. I haven't really ventured into that, so I do buy a vegan mayo and I get it in a glass bottle. Peanut butter I also get in a glass bottle. That's very accessible to a lot of people as well, so you're welcome. Then there is something that I cannot find without any plastic, and that is vegan butter. In Denmark, as far as I can see, we have two options for vegan butter. We either have a solid plastic container, or we have a little piece of plastic wrapped paper, and I go for the plastic wrapped paper one. Then we have jams and marmalade, and that's really easy to find in glass containers. I rarely eat it actually, so the jam that I have standing in my fridge is something that I think my mom brought for me back last Christmas. I often make my own nut butters as well, so if I do have excess nuts, for instance from a dumpster diving trip, I will also make it into my own homemade Nutella, and I think I have a recipe on the blog for that, like a really old recipe, but I still do the same thing. Then we have meat replacements. I do definitely enjoy meat replacements. I am not a whole foods all the way, all the time kind of vegan. I do like vegan nuggets and vegan burgers and just sue me. But some of these things do come wrapped unnecessarily in plastic, and I try to find pieces that are in as little plastic as possible. So these are the things that I personally prefer to buy when it comes to meat replacements. I get soy patties, soy nuggets and soy chicken chunks from a brand called Like Meat. They usually pack their things in a cardboard box. They also do have some things in plastic packaging, but they still, luckily, thank God, have some of these things in this cardboard box, which is so great. They are in the frozen section, and I really enjoy these things. The chicken chunks are a staple in my kitchen because you can use them for so many different things. I can boil them and make them super soft and almost like stringy, and they're perfect in ramen and soups, and it's so good. They are amazing, and if you just fry them with a little bit of liquid smoke on the pan, oh my god, it's so good. So yeah, those are definitely some of my staples. I also do definitely like Naturli's minced once in a while, and this I'm showing you right now is not even minced, it's their falafel mix, but I dumpster dived this and I don't have the minced with me right now. So, but the minced is in the same packaging as this falafel mix. I usually make my own falafel mix, but again, this was in a dumpster, so there we are. I do definitely try to minimize the amount of soy products that I consume, also for the environment, but definitely mostly, honestly, because of the plastic packaging. I'm not sweating it too much when it comes to the environmental impact of soy products, because it is only a very small percentage of soy production that goes to the production of soy products for humans. I think it's around 96% of it that goes to animal agriculture, so again, I'm not sweating it all that much. I also definitely do enjoy just normal tofu, and I've become better and better at making it, and luckily I've found several different kinds of tofu that comes in glass bottles. I think in an earlier video I was talking about tofu and said I couldn't find it in a glass bottle, and now I've found like 3 different versions in glass. So yeah. So for spices, actually in normal grocery stores, there often are different kinds of packaging that does not involve plastic. I've found spices either in small glass bottles or small aluminium tins. And the small tins are really easy to reuse. So when I get something in one of these tins, I will save the tin and use it for bulk shopping later or storage or whatever. But there are also types of spices that I haven't been able to find in these kinds of packaging, and with those spices I will wait until I am in Copenhagen or in Aarhus, and I will buy them in bulk. So those are again the 2 options that I'm sort of varying in between. And when I do get my spices in bulk, I will just bring a tiny little container and I will take it home with me. Luckily it doesn't weigh all that lot, so that's really neat. And recently I went to Lowe's and I found out that they had onion powder and garlic powder in bulk, and I almost cried. Like, it's been such a long time since I've been able to have that, because it does not come without plastic in my normal supermarkets, and when that's the case, I will simply find another solution. I'll simply wait until it is possible. The spices that I use on a regular basis are salt and pepper, obviously, powdered veggie stock, onion powder, garlic powder, curry. I use curry so much. Cumin as well, I use quite a lot. Cayenne, paprika, I feel like are the top spices that I use. And then we have sweets and snacks. I definitely have a sweet tooth, and this is how I shop for sweets and snacks without any plastic. In Denmark, you can find bulk sections for sweets in many grocery stores. Not right now. Right now we are under lockdown and all these bulk aisles have been suspended because of contamination risk for coronavirus. Makes total sense. So I will just wait until the dust settles a little bit and then I'll have sweets again. Another snack that I really love is popcorn, and luckily popcorn is really easy to make without plastic. Granted that you have access to kernels without plastic, of course. And then I pop them in coconut oil at home with salt, and that's it. That is everything that I do, and it's a completely plastic-free snack that I love. My coconut oil comes in a glass bottle, by the way. Then I use chocolate sometimes. Chocolate is something that I also really try to cut down on because I know it has a really large carbon footprint. And the chocolate that I do get is always fair trade. I know it doesn't mean all that lot, but it does mean something. I mean, it does mean something. So organic fair trade chocolate all the way. I get my chocolate in bulk also from Lowe's, but I also definitely do see organic fair trade chocolate available in supermarkets. So if that was like an emergency chocolate situation, you could also go for that. And lots of them come without plastic as well. So yeah, that was the groceries that I could think of right now that I am usually buying and how I buy them. If you have any questions regarding specific things that I haven't mentioned, leave a comment down below and I will definitely answer your questions. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and take really good care of yourselves. Stay safe. Until next time. Bye. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green, zero-waste content, and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye!